Claudia Christian is an actress with scores of film and television credits, but she's also an advisor to Ria Health. And we're very happy to have her here today. Welcome, Claudia.
Thank you.
You have a very personal journey that has brought you to your relationship with Ria.
I suffered from an alcohol use disorder myself and have been running a nonprofit for 4 years. There's a lot of people out there that need a lot of help. And so when I was asked to be on the advisory board for Ria Health, I jumped on it because I do believe in telemedicine and I do believe it's going to help a lot of people now and in the future. It makes sense. It's private. It's personalized for the individual. It's less expensive than traditional treatment. It's more effective. It has a much higher success rate. It's just everything that I advocate. Respect for the individual, no shame, no stigma, and personalizing their treatment. This is effective, and I believe in effective science-based medical treatment for alcohol use disorders.
Can you tell us a little bit about your personal experience? When did you first realize that alcohol had become a problem in your life?
I was a very, very light drinker in my 20s, and then I was sort of a social drinker in my 30s. It wasn't an issue. I started drinking more. I stopped drinking because I thought, well, this must be an issue. So I went completely abstinent. And that's when I caused the alcohol deprivation effect to occur. Instead of being a wine drinker every night, which was actually more manageable, I would have 6 months of sobriety and then I would just binge drink because I was craving. And I didn't understand the learned behavior aspect of this insidious, disorder of the brain. I didn't understand any of it. I just knew that I was not in control. And that's when I realized I had an issue.
I saw a statistic, you're probably familiar with this, from 2002 to 2013. The incidence of problem drinking for women has gone up 84%.
Yeah.
Why do you think that's so?
It's very well addressed in Gabrielle Glazer's book, Her Best Kept Secret. I think there's a myriad of issues here. I think that the stresses on women to be the perfect parent, the stresses of also looking perfect and having the perfect job, and all of these stresses, and also the abundance of alcohol related activities for women. There's a glamorization of alcohol. There's a sexiness about it that women just don't. Maybe 2 of the people of your group of girlfriends will be fine, but another 2 or 4 might really be adversely affected when they reach their 40s and 50s. It's a learned behavior, so the more you engage in the behavior, the worse you become.
You gave a terrific TED Talk at the London Business School.
Thank you.
And you were very candid about your experiences with problem drinking. There's one word you didn't use, and that was alcoholism. I wonder why.
I do use alcoholic and alcoholism, especially to people who are very versed and used to that word. Am I going to compare the occasional frat boy binge drinker to the chronic alcoholic who wakes up in the morning and starts drinking vodka so they don't go into withdrawal? Is that the same? Are they both alcoholics? Well, they both suffer from a disorder. It's also very entrenched in the 12-step community, the word alcoholic, and they even refer to it as an allergy. You're allergic to alcohol. That makes you an alcoholic. I think it's a little antiquated, that term.
You eventually discovered Naltrexone, and it helped you. Mm-hmm. And before that, did you explore other treatments?
I tried everything that I could get my hands on or learn about. I tried abstinence, just white knuckling and quitting alcohol on my own. I tried cognitive behavioral therapy, psychotherapy, vitamin therapy. I tried 17 different AA meetings in 2 different countries, England and America. I tried rehab to the tune of $1,000 a day, hypnosis. I tried, short of electroshock therapy, I think I've tried just about everything. Past life regression, deep tissue, Rolfing body work that claimed to, I tried everything. And I really was committed because it was a huge issue in my life. I was out of control for the first time in my life. I'm a really disciplined person. I'm a hardworking person. I compare it to having an alien in my body. I call it the monster. It's something that you're outside your body and you're watching yourself crack open a drink in the morning and you're like, who is this person? I like tea, because you don't want to suffer withdrawal. It's a horrific experience to go through.
Eventually you did find Naltrexone.
Yes.
And how did you make that discovery?
I wish that somebody would have told me that there were medications when I was in a rehab facility surrounded by doctors, but they didn't. I actually had to go to my first and only medical detox in order to find a flyer there on the way out. I saw a flyer for the shot Vivitrol, and it said that it would help with cravings, and it was $1,000 a month, and I was desperate at that point. And I happened, Kismet, or God, or whatever, intervened, because I called to try and make an appointment, and nobody ever called me back. So I researched it, Googled it, and out pops Dr. Roy Escapa's book, The Cure for Alcoholism, which is based on Dr. David Sinclair's seminal work about the Sinclair Method, which is targeted extinction. You take naltrexone 1 hour prior to the first drink of the day, and it blocks the reinforcement or reward that alcohol creates in an addict's brain. And eventually your neural pathways, which in an addict are so pronounced, they're so reinforced, it's almost like seeing like a 4-lane superhighway. Eventually they shrink down to a little country lane and you become normal again. Now, coming from a family of scientists and doctors and researchers, I thought, this makes complete sense. This makes sense, finally. Somebody's not asking me to pray it away or wish it away or talk it away. They're telling me that I can actually undo the wiring that has occurred, because I distinctly remembered a time when I wasn't an addict. This is something that I didn't have, and now I have it, and it could kill me.
You've talked a lot in other talks and interviews about your experience with that craving for alcohol and how difficult that was, especially at times when you were trying to just stop cold turkey.
Yeah. My girlfriends would say, come on, we're going to go wherever. And I knew that they'd all be drinking wine, and I would just be, so angry. I was not happy in my sobriety because it was forced upon me. I wanted to be normal again. I wanted to have a choice. I didn't want to stand up at a meeting and say, I'm an alcoholic. I wanted to stand up and say, hi, I'm Claudia, and I used to have a problem with alcohol. Now I don't. And I wanted to be free to make a choice. I know deep inside I have a choice. I can pop a pill, wait an hour, and have a drink if I want. But just having the choice releases me from that resentment, releases me from that anger.
4 years ago, you started the C3 Foundation, and now you are on the advisory board for Ria Health.
Yes.
So what's your mission here? What's the goal?
Well, my mission with C3 Foundation was to provide help and information free of charge, because I felt so violated as an addict when somebody was charging me for ineffective treatment. Whatever the person wants, I support them, but I only advocate for the Sinclair Method because I'm not a doctor. I know what worked for me, and my passion comes through in that regard. People are in need of a different treatment, an option. Our slogan is options save lives, and that's the truth. Every single individual suffering is different. You can't treat them all the same. You can't send everybody to rehab. It's not going to work for everybody. You can't send everybody to AA. You can't put everybody on the Sinclair Method. It's not going to work for everybody. So you have to have choices. So what I'm so excited about Ria is that they individualize the treatment for the person. So you have, if this doesn't work, okay, you didn't fail, it's okay, let's try something else. And that's such a new way of treating addiction. It's such a joyful thing for me to hear that people actually have a choice to try something different. They're not shoved into the same thing that hasn't been working for them for a decade. I deal with a lot of people from lawyers, doctors, law enforcement, pilots, firefighters, people that just might lose their jobs if they admit to this issue. And this treats them privately. They don't have to leave work. They can have dignity and respect for the individual, and they can do it their way. And if they choose to not tell anybody, that's their choice. I don't expect anybody to do it any other way than the way they choose to.
Unfortunately, we're out of time, but I want to thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you very much.